20. Can I get a roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Kurtz,
Here.
Mr. Strollo,
Here.
me, Mr. Natali, I'm here. Mr. Mercado,
Here.
Mr. Bowman, Mr. Dawson,
Here.
Mr. Carderas,
Here.
Mr. Linder,
Here.
Mr. Tedisco,
Here.
Mr. Anderson,
Here.
Ms. Downs,
Here.
Mr. Selma.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Everybody want to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the
to
flag of the United States
United
of
States
America
of America,
and to the republic
Republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation.
nation, under God, indivisible, with
Liberty
liberty.
and justice for all.
Okay, first order of business tonight, the earth removal, filling, regrading permit of Joseph Nozzle Jr. Field. We have,
the earth removal, filling, or regrading permit of Joseph Nazal Jr., care of Scott Nolan, Malona McBroom, Inc., 99 Realty Drive, Chester, Connecticut, 06410, property located on Fieldstone Court, as generally shown on Assessor's Map number 19, lot number 58 in an I-1 zone. Packet information available for review on the town's website homepage under documents distributed or displayed during virtual meetings.
thank you. And representing Mr. Nozzle tonight.
Good evening, Chairman Kurtz, Darren Overton from Ilona McBroom, here on behalf of the owner and applicant. Everybody hear me okay?
Yep. Yes, we.
Okay, so I see Bill's putting the plan up. So we've submitted an earthwork and regrading permit. This is essentially a fill project. We've looked at several concepts for the owner on this property, and he's never been able to gain a tenant's interest to actually move forward with a site plan. As you know, the owners, or may know, the owner is a contractor. He's working on another project where he has access to fill. While about 50 feet of this property is relatively level with the road, it drops off after that. So he had a desire to clear the lot and place the fill that he has available on the site to create a more readily developable pad site that he thinks will garner more interest from future tenants. So we've applied for this application to give him the ability to place that fill. We went to the Inland Wetlands Commission, and since the fill is being placed outside of the 50-foot review area, they made a determination that no permit was needed. We did receive some comments from engineering staff in regard to this. We provided a written response, and we created some plan revisions to address those comments. I believe there are no further outstanding issues relative to this. So we would hope that the commission could move forward with the application tonight. That's about all I have for a presentation. If anybody has questions, I'd be happy to try and answer them at this time.
Okay, commission members, any questions at this time?
Yes, one question.
Mr. Todd.
See, I believe that I read in the write-up, let's see, they were looking to possibly do work outside of normal hours.
So we did request work on Saturdays.
Okay. Are there, what's the closest residential property to the this property?
That's a good question. Probably be over on Reinhardt Road.
Right across the street. Pretty far distance away, though. It's not.
Okay. Well, I just want to, I mean, where I'm going with that, I just want to see if, if there's going to be work done on a Saturday, which is not usually done, is going to hurt the quality of life for residents of the area, if they're close enough.
Right.
I would say one house across the street on next to the Christmas tree farm there would probably be that'd be the closest, I would say, to that area. You can where we approve the storage facility. There's a little house back there. Would probably be the closest.
There's no abutting residences.
As a north ender, I mean, there's really no houses around that facility at all. It's mostly industrial.
Okay. Thanks.
Any other questions by commission members? Okay, Mr. Volker, any public comment? Bill, you there? Any public comment?
Muted, Bill.
Right there. Hold on.
No, there are no public comments.
No
Okay.
public comments, Mr. Chairman. I did have a comment from the Cheshire Fire Department. Says the fire department's reviewed okay. Fire department's reviewed above application for the plans and process. We offer no comments or stipulations at the time. They will be offering comments when they come in for a building on the property, but regarding the fill, they have nothing to say at this time.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Overton. And with that, we'll be closing this public hearing.
Thank you.
Move on, number 2, special permit application of Scott. Sorry, for Harrison.
Farquharson. Yes.
Thank you for. Do we have a 61 Rosalind Drive accessory apartment? Do we have the call for that? Can we hear the call for that, please?
Yes, we do. The special permit application of Scott, Farquharson,
Yes.
Baybrook Remodelers, care of 824 Boston Post Road, West Haven, Connecticut 06516, for an accessory apartment property located at 61 Rosalind Drive, Cheshire, Connecticut 06410, as generally shown on assessor's map number 77, lot number 31 in an R20 zone. Packet information available for review on the town website homepage under documents distributed or displayed during virtual meetings.
Thank you. And who will be representing the applicant?
Yes. My name is Scott Farquharson. I work for Baybrook Remodelers, for the contractor for this project. And we want to build an accessory apartment, and it's related to the owners. The owner's name is Cooney and is their mother, to build an accessory apartment. And it'll be approximately 30 feet by 24 feet, and it's a 1-story addition.
Okay, thank you. Any commission members, questions on this application?
Yes.
Mr. Mercado?
In your side views, it looks like, is there storage underneath the 1-story apartment? Looks like it's 2-story.
It's going to be a full basement so that they can use it as storage.
So they're putting in a basement and an apartment above it.
Yes, the basement will be accessible from the house, the main house.
Thank you.
Any other commission members, questions? Sensing none, do we have any comments for this application?
Mr. Chairman, I have a comment from the Cheshire Fire Department dated November 17, 2020. Subject 61 Rosalind Drive permit. The fire department reviewed the above application for the plans process. We recommend the following comments and stipulations. If this application is approved, one code compliant plans must be submitted to the building official and fire marshal's office prior to construction. And their comment that they like as part of their motion would be a fire alarm system will be installed so that occupants of both dwelling units are notified of a smoke or fire condition in the other.
Okay, I'm assuming no public comment.
Suzanne, anything?
No public comments.
Okay, great. So with that, pretty simple application. I think I will be closing this public hearing. Thank you. Moving on, number 3, special permit application, Town of Cheshire Public Works and Engineering, 1325 Cheshire Street, to construct a 350 square foot pre-cut bathroom building with associated parking in Quinnipiac Park.
Okay. The special permit application of Town of Cheshire Public Works and Engineering Department, care of George Nowotny, Director, 84 South Main Street, Cheshire, Connecticut 06410, to construct a 350 square foot precast bathroom building with associated parking area in Quinnipiac Park. Property located at 1325 Cheshire Street, Cheshire, Connecticut 06410, as generally shown on Assessor's Map 38, lot number 180 in an R40 zone. Packet information available for review on the town website homepage under documents distributed or displayed during virtual meetings.
Thank you. And representing the town on this application? Do we have George on the call, Bill?
George is here. Jan, you're up. You were George. George is here. George, can you hear us?
Oh, I see him. Yeah, he's connecting right now to audio.
Thank you.
George
As
is
he-
there.
I am here.
You're up.
Hang on a second.
Battle one.
All right. Can you folks hear me? Because I'm working through the phone somehow.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, good evening. Thanks for having us. I think the narrative that was just given was a large part of this, but the Public Building Commission is looking at installing a precast bathroom at Quinnipiac Park between the playground area and the kind of what I'm going to call the paved skating area along the access road to the wastewater treatment plant. It's about a 300 to 350 square foot building, depending on the layout inside, and two fixtures essentially for each side, and a little storage space in the middle. The proposal also has 2 handicapped parking spaces in the off that main access drive, and it'll be served by public water and sewer. So that's the overall plan. It'll be as I said, a precast building with a hip type roof, so a shingled hip type roof, and the exterior will be either a brick facade or kind of if you've been down to the West Main Trail parking, there's one that's kind of a brick and clapboard half and half facade. So that's the proposal, and subject to your questions, I'll be happy to speak to it.
Okay, is this the only bathroom? Is there an existing bathroom at this park now, or is this the first one?
That's correct. There is a bathroom on the other end of the parking lot, so the far side of the park.
It's a long way to walk to get there though, so that's great you're doing this.
Correct. Yeah, the Public Building Commission and John Golick of Park and Rec were very forward thinking in this.
Okay, commission members, any questions on this application?
Oh, Woody Dawson, the only thing I can say is it's a good move. It's about time. It is a long walk. If you go there, you've been there, you'll see it. To go to the bathroom, it's a long walk. So it's going to make a big difference. You agree, George?
I agree wholly, Woody.
Okay, nice job. Thank you.
Any other commission members with questions or comments? Okay, any comments to read into the record?
I do, Mr. Chairman. This is the Cheshire Fire Department dated November 17, 2020. The fire department has reviewed the above application for the planning and zoning process. We recommend the following common stipulations. If this application is approved, code compliance plans must be submitted to the building official and fire marshal's office prior to construction, and they're asking for 1 fire department key box will need to be installed and maintained in the new building. That's it.
Okay, I assume any public comment on it?
No
Yeah.
public comments.
Okay,
I'd just like to make one comment. My daughter's part of soccer, and a lot of the other parents that approached me at this, they love this idea, and thank you. It's great. It's needed.
okay,
Thank you.
great. Thank you, and we will also be closing this public hearing. We'll take number 4 and number 5 together. Special permit application of De Janeiro Development Construction LLC, Weiss Road and Academy Road. The earth removal waiver, section 25.5, and number 5, the earth removal filling regrading permit, De Janeiro Development Construction. And I'm sorry, we'll also take number 6, which is the 21 lot subdivision for the same Weiss Road and Academy Road. Mr. Talley, can we hear the call, please?
Yes, and for all 3 of these, the packet information is available for review on the town website homepage under documents, distributed or displayed during virtual meetings. The special permit application of De Janeiro Development and Construction LLC, care of Anthony J. Fazzone Esquire, Fazone Ryan and Mercuti LLC, 2 Town Center, Cheshire, Connecticut 06410 for earth removal waiver, section 25.5, section 9, for a 21 lot subdivision, property located at Weiss Road and Academy Road, Cheshire, Connecticut 06410, as generally shown on Assessor's Map number 58, lots numbers 12 and 17 in an R40 zone. Number 5, the earth removal, filling, or regrading permit of DeGenero Development and Construction LLC, care of Anthony J. Fazone Esquire, Fazone Ryan and Mercuti LLC, 2 Town Center, Cheshire, Connecticut 06410 for earth removal, filling, or regrading permit. The waiver request of subsection 9 under section 25.5, property located at Weiss and Academy Road, Cheshire, Connecticut 06410, as generally shown on Assessor's Map number 58, lots number 12 and 17 in an R40 zone. And number 6, the re-subdivision application of DeGenero Development and Construction LLC, care of Anthony J. Fazone Esquire, Fazone Ryan and Mercuti LLC, 2 Town Center, Cheshire, Connecticut 06410 for a 21 lot re-subdivision, property located at Weiss Road and Academy Road, Cheshire, Connecticut 06410, as generally shown on Assessor's Map, number 58, lot numbers 12 and 17 in an R40 zone.
Thank you. And I assume, Mr. Fazone, you'll be taking this application?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. For the record, Anthony Fazone, law offices in Cheshire, representing the applicant. As the call noted, it's a 21 lot subdivision. There is grading adjacent to both Weiss Road and Academy Road. It's pretty minor, and it's basically to meet the grade of those roads. Ryan McAvoy will go in a little more detail, but that's the purpose for requesting the waiver. We have been before wetlands at one meeting. Based on discussions with the Wetlands Commission, an alternative dealing with the major drainage basin is being proposed. And again, Ryan will get into that. With that, I'll turn it over to Ryan.
Thank you, Anthony. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Good evening. For the record, my name is Ryan McAvoy. I'm a licensed professional engineer with Mylona McBroom. And I'm just going to try to briefly walk you through the proposal in front of you, try to touch on some of the more critical points of the development, and hopefully answer any questions you may have. So the development in question is a 21 residential subdivision in the R40 zone. It's on 2 properties, current properties that exist today. They're both under the same ownership. The first being property with frontage off Weiss Road, the second property with frontage off Academy Road. But for the purposes of this application, I'm going to refer to them essentially as one parcel because this is going to be, the subdivision is going to cross over in both. So 2 properties together, total about 34 acres in size. The eastern half along Weiss Road, as I'm sure you all are familiar with, is lightly agricultural, primarily hayfield today, with rolling topography, rising, coming off Weiss Road, rising up to a high point roughly by the wood line, about elevation 252, with grades descending to the north, which is up on this sheet, towards a pond that is dammed along Honeypot Brook. The western portion of the site is dominated by forested areas that abut the Cheshire Academy campus, with, again, more or less rolling topography, with portions of the site draining towards Academy Road and portions of the site draining back to Honeypot Brook. We did submit an application to wetlands, and we are currently awaiting their decision, which we hope will come at their next meeting, the 1st of December. But we did flag wetlands and identify them in 2020. Wetlands primarily associated with Honeypot Brook and some smaller pockets along Weiss Road Academy Road to the south. This particular property does have public water available on Weiss Road, and public sewer is not currently available on the site. It is not listed as a property to be served by sewer for the time being. So what we propose is a 21 lot single family residential subdivision. Bill, if you could scroll up to the sheet right above, that would be helpful. Nope, back one.
That one?
Nope, back to SP1, please, if you could. One more. That's SP2. Okay, there we go. There we go. So our roadway network that's going to serve these proposed lots will begin off Weiss Road, roughly in the central portion of the property. And to the maximum extent possible, we're following existing topography with grades of the road not exceeding 7%. And we are extending that road roughly 2,200 feet from Weiss Road to the west, and then curling down to the south to be a through road connecting with Academy Road. There's also a small cul-de-sac, roughly 400 feet in length, that will extend into the interior of the site to serve some of the lots. These lots will all be served by private septic systems and public water. Public water will be extended from Weiss Road through the roadway network out to Academy Road, and then in accordance with the regulations, extended easterly and westerly along the shoulder of Academy Road to the limits of the property. The roadway network is designed in complete conformance with your regulations, your subdivision regulations. No waivers are being requested for grade, for side slopes, or sidewalks, or anything along those lines. And drainage is being conveyed from the road to 4 separate basins, 2 of which will serve as formal stormwater detention basins, and 2 of which are much smaller that will serve as water quality basins to cleanse stormwater before it enters into on-site wetland areas. In terms of the roadway itself, we do request, we do have a earth removal regrading application as part of this. As I mentioned earlier, we are attempting to match grades to the maximum extent possible, but with any roadway network with 2,600 linear feet of total road, there will be some cuts and some fills. We do expect that the road, along with the stormwater management basins, will total approximately 10,000 cubic yards of cut and 8,000 cubic yards of fill, for a net of 2,000 cubic yards, which again, for the order of magnitude of the length of the roadway is, in my opinion, pretty nominal. The waiver requested is associated with 2 stormwater basins, one located off Academy, one located off Weiss. The basin off Weiss will be roughly the same grade as the road, perhaps about a foot below. And the basin over by Academy, thank you, Bill, will be below Academy Road. The grade currently drops off from Academy into the site by about 8 feet, and we're going to excavate a further 2 feet for the bottom of the basin. So very minor amounts of earthwork within 50 feet of the property line, and very moderate, I would say, or very minor earthwork associated with the construction of the road itself. In terms of sightlines from the roadway, we did place the intersection with Academy Road in order to maximize sight distance, particularly looking to the west towards the center of town. There is a high point that is along Academy Road that does obstruct sightlines. So our roadway location rather, is placed so that a driver entering onto the state right-of-way would be able to see substantially over that high point and see over 500 feet to the east, and there are no vertical or horizontal obstructions to the west towards the Weiss Road intersection for at least 550 feet as well. Going back to Weiss Road, we are entering onto a portion of Weiss Road that I'm sure you're all familiar with, that is very long and very straight, and with very limited clearing in the right of way, particularly along the to the north. There's no issue seen as far as 450 feet to the north and south. And when the vehicle begins to enter onto Weiss Road, you can see roughly 1,000 feet to the north and 800 feet to the south. So we believe that the roadway location intersections are chosen to provide the maximum sightline possible for safety purposes. In terms of some of the bookkeeping for the project, we did notify Regional Water Authority because a small portion of the site along Academy does drain to their watershed. We did receive a number of comments from the town's consultant engineer, Anchor Engineering, which we addressed with revised plans that you have. And I believe they only have a few comments outstanding. There was one comment from the fire department, very minor, just requesting an additional note about the size of the water main. And we are, one thing that Anthony noted in his presentation is we are looking to provide potentially, or very likely, I would say, a relocated stormwater basin on the northern part of the property. On your particular map in front of you, our detention basin located along Honey Pot Brook was a location that the Wetlands Commission was not enthusiastic about. So we did provide the Wetlands Commission with an alternate basin location that is roughly located where Lot 3 is shown, roughly center in your plan, opposite the cul-de-sac road. And they reacted. I would suggest their reaction was a lot more favorable to that location. And we expect that on Tuesday of next week, the Wetlands Commission will formally endorse that revised location with their vote on the application. So while the plans in front of you do reflect our original location, we do expect that subsequent to Wetlands acting on the application, that we'll be providing you with a revised plan showing the stormwater basin closer to the roadway and minor shifting of the lots to allow for the basin to be closer to the road without changing the lot count. One thing we'd also like to note is that our revised plan that will be forthcoming will allow for the basin and the dam that's along Honey Pot Brook and the pond to be located within a property that will be owned by the homeowners association. And that's important because obviously it makes it easier for maintenance purposes of the basin, but also for the dam itself, which is a dam that is controlled and reviewed periodically by the Connecticut DEEP. That dam is subject to somewhat infrequent inspections and maintenance. So having it on land owned by the homeowners association, which we expect to be submitting to you next week, I think would be an advantage so that it's not located on an individual parcel owned by a homeowner. So without going into a lot more detail, I'd like to perhaps open it up to questions from the commission and the public, knowing that revised plans are likely going to be submitted reflecting what I just talked about with the stormwater basin and lot configuration north of our roadway.
Mr. Kurtz,
Yes, Mr. Strillo.
could I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Ryan, the one thing I didn't hear from you was, what has the state said about coming out on Route 68 and 70?
The state typically does not weigh in on roadway locations either until a town has acted favorably on it or it is specifically requested by the town to review the driveway location.
Okay, well, on this application, what if they say no?
Well, then we'd be back in front of you for perhaps a revised driveway location, a roadway location.
I mean, I like the idea, but you are coming out onto a main, roadway, and I really I know that they are, so I mean, I really don't think that.
Well, I would just offer this, Sean, just like you can't act as a commission until wetlands has provided a report. The state takes the position, I don't believe the statutes necessarily say this, but the state takes the position that they really don't want to get involved with local applications until such time as the Planning and Zoning Commission has approved it. Having said that, if it's specifically requested by staff, the DOT will opine, but they generally don't want to get involved unless they're.
They will give us a kind of a yes, we're reviewing it, and that the possibility, or I mean that's the only thing that I'm seeing is that, like, you know, it'd be great to come out on 68, but I mean if they deny it, then you know we wasted a lot of time. That's all I'm saying.
It's their time, not ours, Sean.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, that's
Well,
what
I would expect Commissioner Strollo that, you know, the DOT would not necessarily deny a road location here. They would perhaps have suggestions about relocation of the road, but they wouldn't specifically deny a new roadway cut under Route 68. That's not generally how they review applications like this, because this is not a major traffic generator. It doesn't go to OSTA. It's simply a curb cut encroachment permit that would be required at the local district level.
But how far, Ryan, is it from that new road coming out on 68 and Weiss Road? What's the distance?
It's oof. I don't know the answer off the top of my head, Sean, but I would estimate that it's probably close to 1,000 feet.
It is close to 1,000 feet?
I would guesstimate.
And where that road's coming out is near the road coming out for Cheshire Academy. I don't know if you could see.
The road coming out for Cheshire Academy is several hundred feet to the west. Again, I don't have that number, but it's off our map, so it's over 700 feet to the west.
Oh yeah.
So that's more of a driveway than a full out road like this would be.
And that's a driveway to a maintenance facility.
Yep.
So, you know, this obviously is a road, and it would have more traffic than Cheshire Academy, I would imagine. But you know.
I mean, it will be a cut through, because I mean it's just, you know.
I don't know that I necessarily agree that it would be a logical cut through. I think, you know, just driving through these streets on a fairly regular basis, Weiss Road is straight and the intersection is not typically encumbered.
It's a very hard road to get out of. I mean, I got into an accident right by Weiss Road. It's a bad road to get out of. This road where this is going to be a lot better as long as they approve it, because you're on top of the hill. Being in the hole on Weiss Road, you don't have the sight line to get out. So I mean, sometimes there'll be traffic in the queue there at that Weiss Road, and plus you have across the street, you know, there's another road coming in. So it does get a little dicey when you have a lot of people coming on that road. So that's what I'm saying. I like the road idea, and I just hope that they approve it. That's my big thing. So
that's why we're looking to propose this as well. I mean, one of the conversations we had early on with the applicant is different potential options with how to develop this property. And one of the concerns we had, and I believe in informal conversations with the fire marshal's office, is that they would find it challenging to provide emergency services in a timely way if they didn't have access off Academy Road. In other words,
one last question. How much higher up is that road than Weiss Road? As far as like, that's more at the top of the hill than it is.
We're at the top. We're at the crest of a high point, more or less. I don't know how much different the elevation is at the Weiss.
Feet, I would think. No.
Yeah, probably 30 to 50, somewhere in there. That's okay. Probably a guess.
All right, that's it. Those are the questions. Thanks, Ryan.
Thanks, Sean.
Hey, commission members, anyone else with questions on this?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Yep. So I want to stick on that road for a minute. I agree with everything that Mr. Strolla said, but Ryan, I got a question for you. When were the sight lines established? Because I went by there today and pulled over generally where, based on the information I received here, where that driveway would be.
Mhm.
And I had a hell of a time seeing towards town or looking up west.
Well,
So when were those sight lines established?
by myself and my team. So we chose the roadway location specifically because of the sightline constraints. If you, I don't know if you recall when you were out there, but there is an abrupt high point, rather abrupt for a state road on Academy. We're coming in just essentially as close to that high point as we can without filling in the wetland pocket. And that location allows a vehicle 3.5, not a driver's eye, 3.5 feet up to easily see over that high point all the way towards the center of town for, we show 550 feet in our plan, but I suspect it's beyond that because it was, it's substantially far. Let's put it that way. If you were, I would say, off at your location where you were looking at a road by 50 feet perhaps to the east, then you wouldn't see over that high point. So that high point obviously is a very defining feature that we're trying to design around and make sure that we're not limiting sightline coming out of our street.
Gotcha. And I think that you answer my next question. So when somebody's coming off of this new road and they're looking right, going towards town, their car is going to be a little higher, you said, or it's going to be a little higher?
Yeah, our new road's going to be roughly at the same grade, obviously, as Academy Road. You may recall that the grade drops off by about 6 to 7 feet, perhaps, off the edge of the road. So we're going to be filling in that area. That's one area where we're going to have some earthwork to basically to make it level, more or less.
Gotcha. And then, yeah, that's what I noticed when I was there today, that it seemed like they'd have to come up a little. So if you're going to level it out, that's good.
Yep.
And one other question, if I could, actually two more. So you talked about the dam. So the dam is going to stay with the homeowners association with no liability, nothing coming towards the town for that, correct?
There'll be no liability in the town, no.
Okay, so homeowners association will always take care of that. And then also in the packet, we received some information from Chespercott, and reading through it, it looks like there could be some issues with some perk tests for some of the lots.
No, I think their comment about the perk test is just that we didn't physically show them on the plan, although the perk tests were done. So they were suggesting that at the time individual plot plans are done, that we show the perk test location on the plan. All the testing is done by Chespercott Health District, so they have all the records. They just want to physically see it on the plan when they look at it on a lot by lot basis. That's all.
Okay, I was reading through the first bullet point there where they said lots 1 through 21 need additional soil testing.
That's a pretty standard note that they allow for the possibility that each lot can come back for more testing. Basically, they don't want anyone to complain when they come back and say that that you got to do more test bits, basically. So some lots, when we actually design the septic, give a final design to it, they may not require additional testing. Some they may. So it's really that's their way of saying that we could require it.
Gotcha. So if the state comes in for, like Mr. Strolla says or said, if the state makes you move the road, you might have to retest or
that's
because that could change, or the detention basin that you were saying that inland wetlands may ask you to move, that could cause some retesting also.
Yeah, I would review the revised plans with the health department to see if their letter would still stand, or if they would want to have a handful more test bits here or there. And that's certainly a possibility. Anytime you slide lot lines over, there may be a lot where they look at it and want a couple more pits. That's certainly a possibility.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Ryan, you mentioned there was a few other issues outstanding with the anchors report. Anything that you're going to have?
They're looking for a couple more light poles. No concerns there. And I think they were looking for a little more clarity on the plans as to the responsibility for the dam, that it be, maintained and the responsibility of homeowners association. So what they have remaining in their letter is straightforward, and there's nothing that I see there that would be a concern.
Yeah. Okay,
I have a question.
sure, Ms. Stones, Ms. Stones?
Yeah, why would you put an opening at Academy Road? Why wouldn't you make it a dead end off Weiss?
Well,
And my other question is it gonna be a town road that then you're gonna come back and want it a town approved road? It's not just a development road, it's a town road, right?
that's correct. It's a road that's designed according to town standards, and upon completion, we'll be requesting that it be accepted by the council.
But the
Um,
reason I'm
uh,
asking that is just, it seems so incredibly unsafe to have anything in that area of Academy Road. It's just a very dangerous area. So it seems like it would be safer to just have the whole thing enter and exit out onto Weiss. Where there's no sightline issues, there aren't the issues that you're gonna have on Academy Road.
You
Well, I-
couldn't get the density here. The subdivision regulations won't allow them to have 21 lots on a cul-de-sac in this district. You can't do it.
there's that, and
There's also that, yeah.
but there's also the, as I mentioned earlier, just discussing it with the fire marshal's office, emergency vehicles that are going to serve these properties, emergency services will generally be coming from the center of town. So if they had to get to a lot at the end of a cul-de-sac, they have to go onto Weiss Road into the site and wrap around. That was a concern that they expressed to us in another subdivision off Colton Lane, where it was strongly recommended by the fire department and police that we come out to South Meriden Road in that case. So we sort of applied that lesson here, and it seemed to be a better approach from a safety perspective. And with regard to sightlines, I think that I believe very strongly that the placement of our road addresses a matter of sightlines, and that we're coming in essentially at the high point of the road of Academy Road, so you can see quite a ways on either direction without any obstructions.
What's the limit if you were to make it a dead end street for the amount of houses you could put on it? You're doing this to get more houses in. So what's the difference if you did it the other way?
I don't know.
17, hold on, I'll look it up for you. Hold on.
Thank you.
An alternate plan would be a cul-de-sac obviously is limited by length. Number of lots is, I think, 17. Bill's checking that right now. It might be 16.
In the R40 district, it's 16.
16 lots. And that would not include the houses that would be on Weiss. So we could have two lots would be not, so essentially it'd be 18 lots. And there would be an opportunity for a driveway or two to come off of Academy Road for single family homes in that area. So I don't believe that our layout results in a windfall of density, maybe by a lot or two. In fact, it probably adds about 800 feet of road for our clients' purposes. But we propose the roadway system in this manner specifically to minimize concerns about safety and emergency services. And I frankly don't think that the fire department would be in favor of a cul-de-sac coming off of Weiss.
Yeah, my biggest concern with this is traffic and just people coming out of there, stopping to take a left when you're on Academy Road, when you're going down the hill. It's so dangerous there when a car is, stopped to try to take a left. You have oncoming traffic. It just seems like it's going to bottleneck and present a danger to me. It just seems like a dangerous place to put in a road where 22 houses are going to be driving in and out of. But you've answered my questions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other questions?
Chairman, Rob.
Mr. Ricardo.
A couple. The dam that's there, what shape is it in? Is it in good enough shape or does it be rebuilt? Or
the last report that was done in 1996, it's been a while, but the dam was in good shape structurally. There was a request to remove some vegetation and repair a scour hole at the bottom of the spillway. I don't see any reason why that probably wouldn't be a recommendation for the future. And their next scheduled inspection, according to the DEP, is at some point by the end of next year. So I don't see any major issues there. It's just typical dam maintenance, making sure the berm is cleared and not have trees growing through it, and that any scour be addressed at the toe of the spillway. But the spillway itself looks to be in good structural condition.
Now, on parcel A, are you gonna clear all that parcel, or are you gonna selectively clear?
Collectively, as needed to construct the lots. There's no need to go in and clear cut every lot.
Good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ryan,
Any
along those, I'm sorry, yes, Mr. Chair. Just along those lines for Mr. Mercado, for the houses that are on the west side, the southwest side, I guess, that are along Academy Road, are you going to leave a tree line, or is there going to be, or are those folks going to be able to see this development?
From Academy?
Yeah.
Not really, and the reason why isn't so much vegetation, but the maintenance building for the Academy is down in about a 20-foot grade change from the property line to the maintenance building.
Okay. How about two houses? How about two houses that are next to that Academy Road, or the road that goes into Cheshire Academy?
I mean, we're looking to leave probably 50 to 100-foot buffer, so I'm sure they might in the winter they might see through a little bit, but it's not going to be cleared right to their property line.
Okay, and then same question for the houses that would be between this new road and Weiss Road.
Well, there's a wetland corridor that separates the new lots from the I'll call them the Weiss Road properties. So we're not looking to clear up to the edge of those properties simply because we're not going to be allowed to by wetlands, but also we don't need to develop the lots. So again, there's going to be a fairly substantial vegetated buffer that's going to exist between existing lots and our proposed lots.
Thanks.
With that question about the buffer part, I see in lot 1 and 2 there's a proposed clearing of overgrown brush 20 feet wide to access the pond. Is that probably more wetlands, but is that even legal? I mean, you're going to be on the non-encroachment area. I mean, can you do that?
Yep. Well, the short answer is it's up to the Wetlands Commission. But we did propose that to them, and essentially with the logic being that these lots are going to have a part ownership of a pond, and they're going to want to be able to get to it. And right now, the buffer area is overgrown with multiflora rosa and other invasive species. We're not asking to clear the whole 50-foot buffer. We're looking to provide a 20-foot strip so they can access the pond.
I'm glad to see the plaque. The plaque will be there too with the non-encroachment line. So
yeah, and that's wetlands. I believe they'll make their decision on Tuesday, or next Tuesday. But I believe that I could characterize their opinion. They weren't opposed to the notion.
Okay, cool. Any more questions? This is going to be open obviously because we don't have any wetlands approval, but if we do have questions, it'd be nice to get them out now.
One more, Chairman.
Sure, Mr. Picado.
There was something not too far in the past about the ball field and putting in a stadium with noise and the neighbors in the area. Is there going to be a good tree line left up there for that noise? The playing around at the Academy.
We're going to be several hundred feet away from that ball field on the other side of a ridge. I don't know. I can't say that there's going to be no noise, but the Academy was there first. So I don't think that with the maintenance building and the ridge line that separates the two lots, that there's going to be a substantial amount of noise that's heard from the Academy. So I don't know, that's something that I don't believe, I'm not aware of any significant noise concerns that come from the Academy property itself, but.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering if you were gonna leave a dense row of trees or anything there to help in that at all.
Well, in general, we don't, it's not in our client's interest to clear cut a whole lot if they don't need to.
Yeah.
And in this case, there's very few lots that would require clearing up to the property line. And then the academy property is down to, 20 feet or so in grade. So, I don't think that would be in their customer's interest to clear to the property line either, frankly, see the roof of a maintenance building.
Right. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from commission members? Okay, obviously this will be held open. Do we have comments to read into the record?
Chairman, I have just comments from fire department now. We'd like to wait on the Chestercott and the Anchor Engineering comments until Ryan gets all those tightened up.
Okay.
This is dated November 2nd, 2020 from Chester Fire Department. The fire department reviewed the above application for the planning and zoning process. We recommend the following common stipulations. This application is approved. Code compliance plans must be submitted to the building official and fire marshal's office prior to construction. 1, final water main layout will meet 6-3 Town of Cheshire Code of Ordinances and will need final approval from the fire chief or his designee. Minimum main size is 8 inches and fire hydrants will need to be spaced of every 500 feet and at all ends of the water main. And that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any public comment on this application?
No public comments.
Okay. Ryan, if you're all set, I'm not sure about Mr. Vazone, whether you're all set.
Yeah, I can wait till the next public hearing. I don't have anything.
If you have further, you could definitely, we would like to hear now, but I mean, if it's, I'm not rushing you,
Well,
I'm just.
Okay, the homeowners association would be formed. We typically have a declaration that each homeowner is given a copy of at the time that they sign a contract to purchase the property. They know clearly that there is a homeowners association. They know clearly what the obligations of the homeowners association is. The language with respect to that has been developed with the town engineering department, especially in terms of the drainage facilities that are located within the drainage basins. And in addition to that, at the time of the closings, each purchaser is asked to sign a letter indicating that the homeowners association and the responsibilities set forth in the declaration, that they've been made aware of all of that. So it's spelled out pretty clearly what the homeowners association responsibility would be. And I think when you see the revised drainage basin, you will, it's a much better arrangement with it being on a piece of property that's owned by the homeowners association and has an access to that property without infringing and being a part of someone's backyard. And that's really what I would speak to at this point in time.
Mr. Chair, can I ask a question on that?
Are we going to get those revised plans relatively soon, or at least before our next meeting, to be able to look at it?
Yes.
Are you just waiting for wetlands approval and then we'll get the plans? Is that the idea?
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we could submit prior to, but well, I could discuss this with Anthony, but it may make sense to wait till we get the approval and submit the following day. We could submit prior to that because we're actively working on them right now.
I'd
But
rather wait till you're finished with wetlands. We'll get the plans, any and all conditions, any and all amendments, just amend them once, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
there'd
just
be
like-
approximately, sorry. I think
No,
there'd be approximately 2 weeks. If we received an approval on the 1st, you could have plans right after that.
Okay,
When you're
and we're
meeting
on the 14th, so that would,
14.
Yeah.
I believe Mr. Natale had another question.
Yeah, just for clarification on the homeowners association. So from what Mr. McAvoy said, that dam hasn't been inspected in 24 years. So I take it it's probably on a 25-year schedule. It's going to be inspected next year. Will it be clearly stipulated in there in the bylaws for the homeowner association that they're also responsible for that dam that hasn't been inspected in 24 years?
It'll absolutely be included in the declaration as to what their responsibilities are. I don't know what the DEP or DEEP regulations or requirements are with respect to inspection of the dam. I can't really speak to that, but it would be unlikely that we would put in the declaration that it hasn't been inspected. I would think we would probably look to see whether or not what DEP requirements are, and if it's scheduled or around scheduled to have an inspection, then maybe just have that done.
Gotcha. My concern is, again, Mr. McAvoy said it looks good, but if it hasn't been inspected in 24 years, I would hate to see new property owners come in and a year later have to replace a dam. I think from the town, the town of Cheshire has spent a lot of money when we've been stuck with dams, which I know this one we wouldn't get stuck with this one because it'd be part of the homeowners association, but that could be a huge liability for new property owners.
We'll take a look and see what the DEP requires and if the dam should be inspected.
yeah, I would just throw out there that, we did receive feedback from the state that the next inspection is not going to be scheduled until, it has to be done by the end of next year. Let's put it that way. But this is a Class AA dam, which is the lowest priority dam that the state categorizes because there are essentially no downstream properties that would be endangered by failure of it. But it is a registered dam with the state, so that is going to be a liability of the homeowners moving forward. But it seems logical and appropriate to have it on an association-wide basis, which incidentally would also allow for access to the pond or to the dam by members of the association for passive recreational purposes as well. So I think there's really no other way to deal with it other than have it owned by 21 individual families as opposed to one, when you have a tremendous potential financial liability put on the shoulders of one homeowner, as it is now.
So is there anybody in your organization that would be qualified to, I know it's not an official state inspection, but to inspect it for whatever specs they have?
Yes, I don't know that the DEP would require it at this time, but we can certainly have someone take a look at it.
Gotcha. Again, I'm just worried about that 24 years since the last being done and somebody purchasing a property and a year later finding out that there's that huge liability if something's wrong.
Yeah, and there could be a liability 20 years or 40 years down the road as well.
Yep.
I mean, that's certainly a possibility. I don't think we're looking to remove it. That comes probably with more headaches than keeping it, frankly. But yeah, it's a fair point that they're going to have to, something they're going to have to deal with. And as long as it's clear to them, before they make the purchase, I suppose they can make their own decision. But it's certainly not going to be sprung on anybody.
I think it'd also be in your best interest to make sure that it's functioning the proper way so you could sell these 21 houses. I mean, if I was one of the people coming in to buy a house here, I would want to know what the dam is doing. So it might be in your best interest or the developer's best interest to make sure that the dam itself is in good working order.
It'd be much easier to repair it now with no property there in good faith. Repair it if it needs to be.
Okay, any other questions on this application? All right, we will be holding this open till December 24th. Thank you.
Oh, December.
I'm sorry, December 14th.
You are, yes, you're a Grinch.
Yeah, exactly, right? Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
Motion to adjourn.
Mr.
Second.
Dawson by Mr. Natale. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Oh, no, we got another. Woody, don't go anywhere yet.
Oh, you got one more?
Yep. I'd like to call to order the Planning and Zoning Commission regular meeting for November 23rd, 2020. Can I get motion to accept the minutes from a public hearing and special meeting from November 9th, 2020?
Motion to accept both.
Second.
Ali, second by Mr. Picado. Any discussion, corrections, anything on these minutes? All right, sensing none. Mr. Bowman is not with us tonight, so just make sure. I see Mr. Anderson was here, so we'll have Mr. Anderson voting in Mr. Bowman's place. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Under unfinished business, any communications to come before us?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, unfinished business. I believe we have a motion for Mr. Nas on Fieldstone Court. Is everybody comfortable with hearing that motion? Sensing everybody is. Can we hear the motion, please?
Yep, map and block 19-58 Fieldstone Court in Highland Avenue. Special permit for an earth removal, filling, and regrading permit. The Cheshire Planning and Zoning Commission find that the proposal for filling and regrading is shown on plans entitled Site Plan for Earth Regrading Permit, MBL 19-58 Fieldstone Court, Cheshire, Connecticut, dated October 13, 2020, is consistent with the requirements set forth within Section 25 of the Cheshire zoning regulations, and hereby approve this application conditioned upon compliance with comments from Anchor Engineering dated November 3rd, 2020.
Anyone like to move?
By the way, Mr. Chairman, we did get a email from the engineering department. They are satisfied with the plans as revised.
Okay, moved by Mr. Natale, by Mr. It was? Yeah. Okay. And Bill, you said it was, the engineering was okay with it? Is that what?
Yes, yes, we got an email today from Don Nolte, yes.
Okay, great. Any other discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the application signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? And anyone abstaining?
Mr. Chair, which alternate was used?
We're going to have Mr. Anderson again voting on that one.
Thank you.
So that is unanimous. Thank you. We also have the motion for Scott, I'm sorry, again, Farquharson. Can we hear that motion, please?
Yes, special permit request for an accessory apartment 61 Roslyn Drive. The Cheshire Planning and Zoning Commission find that the proposed accessory apartment at 61 Roslyn Drive as shown on plans submitted by the applicant is consistent with the requirements set forth in Section 30, Schedule A, Item 5 of the Cheshire regulations, and hereby approve this application. This approval is conditioned upon compliance with comments from the Cheshire Fire Department dated November 17, 2020.
Anyone?
Move staff sorting.
Moved by Mr. Natale, second by Mr. Mercado. Any discussion on this motion? Pretty self-explanatory, easy one. All those in favor of the motion say, I'm sorry, we'll have, again, Mr. Anderson voting on this. All those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Number 3, Town of Cheshire Public Works, Cheshire Street bathroom. Do we have a motion for that?
Special permit for municipal bathroom at Quinnipiac Park, 1325 Cheshire Street. The Cheshire Planning and Zoning Commission find that the proposed bathroom facility at Quinnipiac Park as shown on plans entitled Quinnipiac Park. Proposed bathroom facility 1325 Cheshire Street, Cheshire, Connecticut, dated June 15th, 2020, is consistent with the requirements set forth within section 40 special permit to the Cheshire zoning regulations and hereby approve this application. This approval is conditioned upon compliance with comments from the Cheshire Fire Department dated November 17th, 2020.
Move staff wording.
Moved by Mr. Dawson, seconded by Mr. Mercado. Any discussion on this motion?
Pretty reasonable request.
Sounds like needed. So, okay, we'll have Mr. Selmont vote on this application in Mr. Bowman's place. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone abstaining? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Thank you. 4, 5, and 6 are held open. Didn't we have one more to, is that onto the, I don't have it on my thing here, Strollo
No, we
Court?
got a road acceptance for Strollo Court, Cedar Crest subdivision.
Yeah. But that's all right.
Under, yeah, bonds, you'll see it on this page, the second page, backside of your agenda.
Yeah,
I have a motion, Mr. Chairman.
I don't have the updated one, but let's, before I go to new business, I guess can we hear that motion?
Yep, acceptance as town road, Strollo Court, Cedar Crest subdivision. In accordance with the November 20, 2020 letter from Public Works Director George Nawatney, the Cheshire Planning and Zoning Commission recommends that the town council accept Strollo Court in its entirety as a town road, all as shown on a map entitled subdivision map Cedar Crest subdivision, 920 Harvest Street, Cheshire, Connecticut. Scale 1 equals 40 feet, dated January 16, 2015. Revised to June 4th, 2015, sheets 1 and 2. Prepared by Malone Broom Incorporated, 99 Realty Drive, Cheshire, Connecticut, 06410. Acceptance by the town council should be conditioned upon the recording of the warranty deed for the town right of way and related legal documents is approved as to form and content by the town attorney. At the time of acceptance, the existing performance bond will be released and a maintenance bond in the amount of $8,071.64 will be posted. And mile copies of the road as built should be provided to the engineering department. That's it.
Okay.
Move staff wording.
Moved by Mr. Talley, seconded by Mr. Mercado. Everybody planning on voting on this? Okay, so we will have Miss Downs take over for Mr. Bowman on this one. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye.
Hey, he's got to vote for me too.
That's why I was asking if you were going to recuse yourself. So we'll put Mr. Selmon in Rolo. You were on mute. I couldn't hear you. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Let's do the vote over again, just so it's not whatever. But Mr. Selmon will be taking Mr. Strollo's place, and Ms. Downs will be taking Mr. Bowman's place. So all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And our 2 abstentions was Sean abstained, and Mr. Bowman is not here. So motion is approved. New business, we have a special permit application, 687 South Main Street.
Yeah, that's 7 Townhouse under the infill development regulations at South Main and Higgins Road. You know where that is. That's where they took the gas station down.
Yep.
We recommend that for December 14th.
Okay. And 905 South Main Street also on the 14th?
This is CVS. They want to put a medical testing facility in the parking lot. They're also requesting that you waive the public hearing, which you can do under your regulations where you've determined that it's not a major change. It's a modular building they want to put in the parking lot, very small. There's a narrative, you'll see that, but it's by appointment only. The concern we had is that it have some level of review. It's going to be a testing facility, and we want to make sure that it wasn't going to interfere with traffic. It doesn't appear that it's going to be. It's your discretion whether or not you want to waive the public hearing. You can do that. It's not a major change to the plan or the circulation out there. It won't impair the drive-through. It's up.
And it's a temporary.
Yeah, it'll be through, it's COVID testing facility, what they're telling us it is, and for as long as it needs to be, but I'm gonna let them basically prepare their narrative on it, but that's what it is. So,
Bill, is it the same one as at the South Cheshire location?
yeah, that's the one time. They put it in the parking lot without asking us. And started.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, it was kind of like, huh? Yeah, so we said, no, you're supposed to ask permission, and that's what this is about. So, yeah.
All right, so that would be something they'll request it on the 14th, or are they requesting?
Yeah, they're requesting it on the 14th. Yep.
Okay, so
Did they remove what was there?
No, it's there. They're not going to remove it. I mean, we could order them to remove it. By the time we adjudicated that, it'll be probably January. You understand my point? So.
For just a point of clarification there, Bill, is there anything we could do administratively just to get this through? Rather than making them wait a few more
I would say
weeks?
you'd have to amend your regs, Jeff. The zoning regulations for site plan items would enable us to do it administratively. And of course, we would probably send you out an email, let you know what it was so you could see it. But the special permit regulations don't have that level of, don't grant anything to our office to do administratively. So if you wanted to do that, you'd have to do it administratively. But I would say, you know, that's among the reasons we didn't order them to remove it quickly, because we thought that you would probably understand that it's likely better to let them go without adjudicating them to halt than cease and desist. So we understand, and we're trying to move as quickly as we can.
Just out of curiosity, what part of the regs does it violate?
Well, the site or the special permit regs have a section, Tom, 40 point, I don't know what it is, but it says any changes to the plan have to be reviewed by the Plan and Zoning Commission.
Okay, I wasn't sure if it's a temporary structure, so I wasn't sure if it's just.
Yeah, you don't have any relief for that in there, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I get the circumstances. Believe me, I understand very, very well what we're trying to do here. That's why we're suggesting that you waive the public hearing. We're understanding you do not want us to adjudicate the removal of said structure, and we are going to work with the building department. Basically, they put in the parking lot, they started hooking it up to the electrical, and they did that all wrong. We're trying to fix a bunch of things here, so we understand.
I asked the same question, Jeff, and we talked about it before earlier. We're trying to get it done for this meeting, but I believe that they couldn't get their stuff in quick enough to be in this meeting. So we tried to get to have it happen very fast. It just it wasn't possible. So
There's no way we can vote on this and say as long as they do 1 A, B, and C.
You know, Rob, I don't. I hate to remind. I mean, the problem is I understand what we're dealing with here, but we don't even have a plan that I can show you. You know, we really need to. You need to have some level of due process, a plan that you can react to and ask questions about. I mean, I understand, but I didn't really want to take the liberty of going too far with this, because the concern I had first was the fire marshal sent us an email with a picture of it, and I worried, without even seeing a plan, that we were going to have cars queued up out onto South Main Street. And I would have had a few phone calls about that, I'm sure. So I'd rather you see something, Rob.
Okay. Fair enough.
And we'll work with them. Believe me, we are. So I get it. And I've heard the message here, and I understand that one as well. So.
Well, Bill, for a corporation that bills so many hospitals and all, you know, I guess they feel that such a small item isn't that important. But it really is important. If you look at the lines that back up,
yeah,
and it's for a good cause. So I kind of agree that maybe the little bit of embarrassment that might be going on right now with this meeting forum is kind of a slap in the hand. I think we should just move on. That's my opinion.
okay, do we have anything else to come before us?
We have an accessory apartment, Apex Developers, 15 Mark Place.
Okay, so how come the rate?
And then-
Okay.
Jocelyn sent out an update today.
Yeah, she sent the second one.
Oh, that's why I'm going off my packet one.
Yeah, yeah,
All right.
we have an accessory, and that's it, with ball and socket, that's already scheduled for the 14th.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like the 14th, you're gonna be very busy, to a point you will be, but there's really nothing here that's that heavy. So you had the opening of the public hearing on, the subdivision tonight. Ball and socket is a reapproval of what you've already approved. So that was a special permit that expired. So that's what you're doing with that on the 14th. So there's not a lot of weight here, so.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Mr.
if I could
Linder.
just, do we have to vote on the, on whether we have that public hearing for CBS?
I thought
we
we
have
were
to vote
gonna
on-
do that our next meeting.
No, you should vote, you should decide tonight on waiving the.
No, I
hearing.
think
Gil
we should
makes a good
decide
point.
tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Sorry.
should, yeah.
Can I get a motion from anyone to,
I'll so move.
okay, moved by Mr. Linder, seconded by,
I'll second it.
okay, any discussion on waiving the public hearing for CVS?
Unbelievable.
Any discussion, Dawson?
No.
Okay,
I'm in favor.
okay, yeah, I think we all are. So we'll have Ms. Downs vote for Mr. Bowman on this, and all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Motion carries unanimously. I guess I didn't get the email. I don't know. Do you
There
have?
was an email that you got, yeah, I hate to say this to you guys, but on Fridays or over the weekend, you gotta check your emails, because sometimes we send stuff out at the last minute that we get in. And so you check your emails and you will see what came out, so.
All right, well, that's okay, but is there someone on the call that's gonna take this, or are we just voting for something?
What are you
Is it-
talking about? For the
Yeah,
public hearing?
No,
There's nobody on the call, no.
what, were we taking up this other item on here, or is that just gonna be set for the 14th also?
No,
Free
the
apartment.
accessory apartment, that's for the 14th, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. All right.
Sorry.
So that's it. Okay.
Yeah, that's it, we're done.
And then- okay.
Good
All
night,
right.
everybody.
If that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Mr. Mercado, second by Mr. Kaderis. Everyone's in favor. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
Good night, all.
Good holiday.
Happy Thanksgiving.